Well, welcome back. So you might hear some noise in the background. That's just because I'm on a busy installation, and that's just what it sounds like. So look, how do you address the elephant in the room? I mean, there's an alcoholic sitting in the room amongst a whole bunch of people who drink, and ones who are just suffering from the alcoholism of someone else, or the addiction, whatever you think it might be. There's no real easy answer to how careful you should be, or the topics you should avoid when you got a drunk in the room. I mean, how do you sit and you want to have a drink, but you're not sure if you should or shouldn't around this person, because they caused a lot of bullshit in people's lives, and there's just no real easy way to say, hey, you're the one that's all messed up, right? It's not easy, especially if you are the person who caused all the issues in the first place, and I don't know, people just don't know how to be around you, or you don't know how to be around people who drink. For me, the answer is simple. I don't drink. I don't drink because I have an allergy, and if it affects somebody else, I just don't really care, because for me, being a destructive drunk for 23 years, it's real simple for me to say, no, I'm not drinking anymore, because I don't want to do that bull crap anymore, and I don't want to cause any more chaos in anybody else's life, to include my own. If that makes somebody else uncomfortable, well, so be it, because that's just where the cookie crumbles for me. And it's just not a question of should I be careful about what I do, but what if you are the person that suffered the most from someone else's alcoholism or addiction? How do you talk about that to somebody else? How do you go about bringing up conversations that might be uncomfortable for the user or the one who caused the issues in the first place? The answer is not simple, and it comes in forms of opportunity. If I'm the person standing in front of you who did the most bullshit and who caused the issues in your life in the first place, how do you talk to them? Well, this is how my wife talks to me. In the beginning, she walked on eggshells, and she was kind of afraid to bring up conversation. And she was kind of afraid to be in situations where she might drink that might make me uncomfortable. That's a lot of mights and a lot of what ifs and all these other things to avoid. Now, 5 years later, I don't drink at all, and I don't have any ambition of it. I do get whims once in a while of what if, and that's to be expected. I mean, I'm an alcoholic, and I do have an addictive personality, so I take things to excess anyway. But she used to walk on eggshells and be nervous about bringing up alcohol or drinking in front of me or whatever, because she still drinks and there's no issue with it, because she doesn't have a problem. I have a problem. Is it insensitive of her to introduce that into me or in front of me? I don't think it is, because that's who she is. And who am I to judge who she is? Nobody. I am an alcoholic who has to protect my own sobriety. And that's where I think this whole topic comes into play. Because if I'm out to protect my own sobriety, if it makes me uncomfortable to be around alcohol or to talk about alcohol, it's my obligation to remove myself from that situation. It's nobody else's, because they didn't cause my problem in the first place. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below, folks, because this directly relates to you and someone you know. It is tough at times for me to, I don't know, be around drunks, and that's okay. In my occupation, I'm around people who drink all the time, and I am around people who get drunk and belligerent and everything else. How do I solve this? Well, I solve this by reminding myself that I'm not that person, and I'm not the one drinking and getting drunk. So do I find myself judging? Sometimes, and that's just because I'm human. I'm kind of straying away a little bit. If I am to talk to myself as a person who you know, is recovering from alcoholism and everything else. And I know there's a lot of damage that can be done if I approach things in a certain direct manner. I know a woman who right now is, you know, happy that her son is going sober again, trying to do it again. And he's a little bit beyond a week now, and I say thumbs up for that, man. And if you're watching this, I congratulate you 24 hours at a time. She's afraid to bring up alcohol around him. And I got it. I totally got it. I mean, me being me, I understand. But I say this, if you don't bring it up, what is the cost of that? Is that a form of enabling? I'm not sure. I mean, to me it is. But what do you think? Is it a form of enabling to not bring up the damage that someone else has caused? Pointing fingers can be a trigger, so to speak, immediately. So it really depends, and it depends on the situation. Is it a good action or not a good action to bring up, you know, some of the things that went on? Yes, it is a sensitive topic, and that's for each individual situation to resolve itself. I do understand how it could be a little bit too soon to maybe go on the defensive or the offensive about whatever situation, but it does need to be addressed, and that's where I'm going with this, really, because things cannot be ignored of what someone did. You know, if I ignored all the things that bothered me about my wife's drinking and I didn't bring it up, then she wouldn't know in the future that this portion bothers me or whatever else. Still my issue, still my problem, still my recovery, and I'm still going to protect it, but it is my obligation to bring it up. And I think that it is okay to bring it up, you know, bring up whatever bothers you to a person who is using or drinking or who used to use or drink, and just address it head on, because if you don't, then it's always going to stay in the background and not be in the forethought of the person who caused that damage. Oh, so lost today. But that's where I'm going to leave this. I want you to tell me what you think in the comments below. Those of you who have subscribed in the last 28 days, I want to thank you, because this channel is growing and it's getting better because of people like you. If you have a topic or a subject that you want to discuss in the future, drop your comments below, because someone's going to get some of that. Tell me what you think of today's video, folks, and life is a garden. Dig it, and guess what? I'm going to see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.